All right, welcome to another episode of the Gen X Guys with JD and Len.
Hey.
Exciting. This is episode 90, by the way.
90.
90.
Our graduation year.
That's true. 10 away from 100. So we'll have to stop at 99 and never do that 100, I guess.
There you go.
Just fall short of that milestone.
Yeah, just make sure that or start over. Do a whole different one.
That's true.
Only go to 99.
Buddy, I was thinking about, we used to do that other podcast with our buddy Mike. God, what was it called again? Can't remember anymore. Horrible. But anyway, yeah.
Horrible. It was horrible, but
I don't think it was horrible. We had some good ones that actually generated pretty good views.
Topics that we could talk about.
Yeah, we had to be very specific. Yes, that's true. Well, we've talked about that before. We had to do very specific topics just to make sure all of us can contribute. So, yeah. What was it called before? Oh, Just a Thought. So those listening, you probably can find it still out there. Just a Thought with JD, Michael, and Len. Yeah. So that was our old school with the three of us. Had some good stuff in there too. Recently, I don't know where it was. I think it's on YouTube. It still exists. But I saw we did something about Scientology, if you remember that one. Talking about Scientology, if it's a cult. We also talked about, is Tom Brady ever going to win a Super Bowl again? I think this was just before he won one with Tampa Bay.
Oh, that was the one where Mike kept on saying something like, if you're good, you're good, or something like that.
No, it's all about execution. Like, those who execute the best will win. It's like, no shit. As long as you execute, you win.
I knew his intention, what he meant to say, but it was just funny how it was coming out. It wasn't coming out exactly groundbreaking. It's like, if you're better than the other team, you'll win.
So true. I mean, he wasn't wrong. Whoever executes the best wins, which is technically true. But you can both execute your game plan and still just suck compared to the other team. Was what we came back with.
My game plan perfectly against Shaq. It doesn't mean that I'm going to score crap against him, even at this age.
Yeah, I could have no turnovers and still lose.
Yeah.
Those sort of things happen. So anyway, yeah. So if you're ever interested in hearing our earlier stuff, it does exist out there. It's out there on the web, the net, the ether.
It doesn't go away. It's forever.
That's true. It does not go away. All right. So this has been a fun week, hasn't it? You enjoyed your week? Being that it's Sunday, we're doing this a little day later, but normally.
Yeah. Actually, this week was kind of boring. Was there anything really happening this week? Did I miss anything?
Well, in what context? Like, plenty of things happened during the week. Like, are we talking about anything major?
Yeah, go on this week?
Besides the continuing war, not war of Iraq or Iran. I mean, sorry. Well, actually, we did the Iraq one in the past.
Yeah, I saw that they're talking about putting boots on the ground to open up the strait.
Yeah, that's not going to happen because it's not putting boots on the ground is not going to necessarily open it, but it's it is what it is. The other things is the impact to the Dow. Stock is about to hit correction numbers at this point, which is a 10% change. So we're about to have that. That'll be fun. And then yesterday was the big protests that
No Kings.
The No Kings. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I don't know why all of a sudden I forgot it, but so there's a few things on that spectrum. And in the sports world, we had baseball kicked off this week. The Giants and the Yankees on Netflix.
I saw that yesterday. Yeah, that's right. We were watching that yesterday.
Yeah. So Netflix did its first ever on Wednesday. They got the opening game. It was just Giants and Yankees. So if you didn't have Netflix, you couldn't watch it, which is limiting. Especially for...
Maybe we talk about that. I mean, there's always the thing that was talked about, years ago about cord cutting, getting rid of cable because it costs so much. And that was at a time when Netflix is really the only game. There was what? There was, of course, YouTube, but you didn't have all the packages for YouTube back then.
Well, YouTube didn't do TV at the time either. So cord cutting meant like cutting out all of your cable and you replace it with something else, an option of that.
Because even at that time when all that was happening, I mean, I think Hulu was around, but it wasn't that big. And there were very niche streaming services. Like there's Crunchyroll, which is for anime, and there was some other stuff out there like Viki, I think was just getting started. for like K dramas and things like that, but there wasn't that many options. And I think the thing is, everybody, I think the obvious thing happened when that came up is, everybody's like, well, why don't we just start our own streaming service? We can get all the revenue, we can get the people to buy in, and and then obviously you started getting 20 subscriptions, and Netflix. Actually, that is something that happened this week. Netflix said that they're raising their rate for non-ads to like $20 a month.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was just. I thought it was $8.
They upped it by $1 or something, wasn't it? Like 19 a month. Now it's 20, and then they move in the other one from 24 with 4K or something like that to 25. I don't know what it is.
Something like that.
I don't even get Netflix myself.
And the thing is, what I think is funny is if you have, like with my credit cards and everything that I have, I get a credit for streaming services. One of them, I think Capital One gets me Paramount Plus. You can actually get through it and not pay for that many subscriptions or get them discounted or just, like I said, for free. So it's kind of weird, but it's a lot of fucking work where, we got rid of cord cutting because, our cable bill was almost $200 a month. Part of it was we were doing international channels. Now, to be my in-laws, we had the Filipino channel, so we did have the bundle for that. But then when you add in the sports, and you added in a Sunday ticket, DirecTV, I was paying between $150 to $200 a month throughout the year.
Yeah, and if you look at, like, to your point, like if I look at, like, I have YouTube TV. When I start to realize how much of the TV do I actually watch, it's similar to the cord cutting. I mean, it's still much cheaper than getting Comcast or Cox or whatever, because their base packages are always so expensive. But that being said, it's like, how much of YouTube TV do I watch? It's more for sports. And now if they're going to start moving them into streaming, or at least a portion of them into streaming, not all games specifically, just a good portion of games will now be split amongst 7 streamers, basically. I mean, think about it from a basketball standpoint. They're on NBC, they're on Peacock sometimes, then they're on Amazon as well. It's like in an ESPN, and it's like, why is the NBA so scattershot all over the place with all, like,
NFL is bad.
Well, NFL, you have NFL's not quite as expensive.
It is.
Well, I mean, they're doing one game. Yeah, but it's a special game, one per night. Like, if you're saying Thursday night games and Monday night games, those are 1-to-1. I'm talking about multiple games can be played on a streaming service by,
because the season's so much longer, so many more.
Correct.
Games. That makes it. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I mean, I think it's just there's the idea where for years, because being a Browns fan and not being in the area, I got Sunday ticket. So I knew that when I was paying for Sunday ticket, that I was paying for all games, right? Except for local games that would, if it was the Raiders, it would be blacked out. If it was the 49ers, it would be on a local station. But I knew that I was getting everything. I knew that Sunday ticket was just to watch the Browns, and I can watch any other game. Again, the only time that I couldn't watch a game 10 years ago was the Raiders would get blacked out. That was the only time I would miss a game. Nowadays, it similar to the NBA and other sports, it's I have Netflix, so I'll watch the games that are on it. There's Amazon, and there's this, and now it's like I think it was 3 years ago when I would watch to watch the Browns, like only half the games were on Sunday ticket. Like, if they had any primetime games, it wasn't on Sunday ticket. So I'm like paying Sunday ticket prices still, which hasn't gone down any. It's only going up. But now the value to it has dropped dramatically. And we would still watch other games, right, on Sunday ticket. We'll still watch, other games during the time zone, flip between them. But it's funny because now the value of Sunday ticket has dropped dramatically because, all these games are spread out now. You have more avenues to watch games. They have Thursday night game. They have, 2 Sunday night games or 2 Monday night games now. So the value of being on Sunday ticket is dramatically lower, yet the cost of it is still high.
Well, and you notice the NFL, and I was listening to on another talk show, and they made a funny point, which is true. The NFL's always wanted to be almost every day of the week. They want NFL, And they even off season. I mean, NFL is like a year round experience is how the NFL wants to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at obviously heading into the draft, the workouts, the combines, all that crap. And then, of course, free agency kicks in. So that's a window of opportunity for people to start watching for. But the other thing that they've done is in the past, the games were always on Sundays, right? And originally, they were always on Sundays. Then they had Monday night. So they added Monday night. And then they started adding Sunday night and Monday night. Then they threw in Thursday.
I hate the Thursday night games.
And now they have a Wednesday game now that they're going to be doing the NFL season and the upcoming season as well. You got the Niners and Rams heading down to Australia to play a game. You got where it's going to Germany, going to I think Mexico City again.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, they're going to Brazil as well.
Which they've done. I think this is the third year that they've done Brazil now.
Right. But the joke is, by law, there is a law that the NFL basically can't play games during a certain point in the year on Fridays and Saturdays. That's why they generally don't have Friday and Saturday games. It's because it's college and high school. Like college and high school is basically the purpose behind that. But they're close. They're going to basically have a Monday, Wednesday. They definitely have a Friday and Saturday after that point and Sunday games. The only game they're missing is a Tuesday. That's it.
Which
otherwise, they will almost hit it at least once. I mean, not every week it's going to be this, but the point is they're trying to find a way to fill in the days with NFL games.
It's not just that. It's also it's just expanding the league year as well. It's not just expanding the number of games, 17, 18 games. I think if they could, they would add in another bye week or two to extend the length of the season.
Right. The Super Bowl that used to happen in January will now happen in like April or May.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Yeah, into the baseball season.
Well, they got to be careful. They don't want to get into March Madness territory. So it'd probably have to be the beginning of March. The latest before March Madness.
I mean, I think what is crazy is that, they talk about player safety. We know that they don't really care about player safety.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
But
I think it's that the Thursday game has always been, I don't know why the Players Association actually agrees to it. Maybe it's because, but then again, I think the flip side is the more money, because of the revenue sharing, I would assume that the more money the league makes, the players like it because they make more money.
Yeah, I mean, you're just offsetting one game for another in the big scheme of things. Every time they I mean, granted though, there's a difference.
It's a bad one.
Which one is?
The Thursday game, especially after you play on Sunday, because of the nature of
that. I agree.
They get beat up too much. And how many times do you see going to a Thursday game? It's not about the matchup; it's about the injury report. I think that
true. Although this last season, I would say to date, up until last season, most Thursday games were just garbage to watch. This season, most Thursday games were actually good. They were garbage, but they were close. They were actually good games that were close as well. So they got lucky. Like, this doesn't validate the need to go that route. It's a bit of luck on their end that they were able to get, a good combination of matchups, which helped Amazon, who the year before was like, Jesus, why are we doing this? This is garbage.
Yeah, I think like the last 2-3 years ago, both of those years were just some of the most horrific games you've ever seen.
Right. But now let me ask you this, because you brought up a good point. Like, the NFL Players Association does their thing. They go the negotiations when they go in their collective bargaining agreements. There's always things that ownership will bring up because they want. The players will bring up because they want, and it's a give and take. And so the owners will come back. Like, they can't technically make changes to the schedule until they talk to the players and do the collective bargaining agreement. So they're not going to go to 18 anytime soon. But they may not. They may not, unless the players, to your point, get some other benefits out of it. But this also brings me to the NBA, who did a similar concept, where in their sort of the players union agreed to this concept of, if you don't play at least 65 games, you're not eligible for postseason awards. So MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, etc. This year, a lot of big names are probably going to hit that threshold, or just fall under it. Or maybe if they don't miss any other games, and there's only a few left, they'll still be considered. So now there's a big pushback by the players union going, look, we know we agreed to this, but like someone like Cade Cunningham for Detroit, he's had a great year, an impressive year. Detroit's like number 1 in the East, and he's falling under that 65 game minimum. So like he's not going to hit that. So he won't be eligible for first team All NBA, which he should be on, no doubt. But because he should be because his stats.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I mean, again, how can you be first team if you're not playing in enough games? I mean, so if you've only played in half the games, but in half those games you dominated, but that means you only dominated half the year. I mean, I think the purpose behind it is valid. I think it's one of those things like with politics where great intention, but when it comes to it, you forget about like the nature of things where players have embraced the whole thing of load management, which is I think this is a thing that kind of pushes back on load management, right?
That's exactly its purpose is because of that.
Right. So I think, players thought it was a great thing and all until, oh, wait, it actually affects me because in real life, it's the players are like, oh, that's right. We are this. I don't know if you want to say soft. I mean, there's always the debate about whether they're soft or.
Oh, they're soft.
Well, because
they're soft around the schedule. I'm not saying it physically they're soft, obviously, or mentally per se, but they are soft because they're taking advantage. They're taking breaks when they don't need to. This is not how, and I know I'm going to be one of those old heads that keep harping back to the past, but it's a reality. Like, if you're physically stronger today and better, athletically as well as conditioned, you're a better conditioned player than say someone back in the 90s. If they played every single game in the 90s, why is it such a struggle for you to make it? Like, this always comes back to my point too. Is today's conditioning program the cause of many of these injuries? They're overworking themselves to stay healthy. Sorry, fell apart there. Little, I had to go cough. But the point is,
you're so emotional about it.
I know it's really heartbreaking. But are they overworked? And this is true. Look at high school and college. Like kids today, like you did programs back in the day where you did weightlifting. We all do in high school, right? There's a weightlifting program. At least back when we started doing, there was a weightlifting program. And usually when you're playing football, that's part of your routine as well as to go strengthen up as well. But the strengthening back then compared to today is night and day. Totally different. So the question is, are kids being pushed too hard too early? And then as adults, they continue that trend, hence why they all break down so easily now.
I think there's a lot of factors. I mean, I think the prevalence of AAU, I mean, it's specifically for basketball, right? AAU and doing sports year round, it's just wear and tear. I mean, because you're talking, it's like talking about a running back. You don't talk about a running back how much they played. You talk about like how many carries over a season they've had or over 5 seasons that they've had. So I think, when you look at that but it also goes to, and I think when you want to talk our players tougher, I think that there's something that people miss out when it comes to our players stronger today than what are they stronger in the past? I think honestly, there was a weeding out back then. Players that torn ACL were done. Players that had a major injury in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times their career was over. And so that doesn't mean just the pro levels. That meant in high school or in college. I mean, how many college players, never made it to the pros because they got hurt in college? How many, look, as being Gen Xers, how many of those sports movies in the 90s were about, the college player who got hurt and his career was over? Nowadays,
the program right there. There's a callback for you.
Exactly. So I think the thing is that you have to look at it as a whole, where I think the conditions are different today than they were before. Because again, you have players who are on the court more and more. They have degenerative diseases not diseases, but things that happen. You have cartilage, back, all these things that do. Then they have, before they even get into the pros, they've had major surgeries. that have happened to players, especially in football, more so in football than basketball, right? So you've had all of these things where they have an injury history. But if you look at those injuries, again, if we're going back to the 80s and 90s, let alone the 70s, even the early 2000s, these injuries, like a meniscus tear was career ending, up until recently. And, it's just when you start to look at how many of these players today that are, great or at that top level never would have even made it to the pros. So, I mean, I think it's more nuanced than saying players are tougher. But I think that there's also, you can even look at, did Jordan or even Brady recently create some of this environment? Because what are players judged by? How many titles they win? Part of the reason for some of this load management is we don't care about the regular season. Playoffs are the only thing that count. As long as we get to the playoffs, that's the only thing that matters. Because people always look at postseason as being the real gauge of great players. I mean, the argument that you see like between like Shaq and Barkley isn't about. There's no doubt that Barkley's one of the greatest players of all time, but the main knock against him is that he never won a title. And so if that's the conditioning that we've had over the years, is Brady better than this quarterback? Well, look how many titles he has. And that's the only thing that, if that's the separating, if that's the thing that says, like, in terms of pure passer, there's no question. In my mind, Marino is a way better passer than Brady ever could have been. But again, he never won a title. And he never went back. So if the judging today, especially in the last 10 to 15, 20 years, is, well, how many titles did you win? And again, a lot of it is on Gen Xers. When you look at Brady and Jordan as being the major gauge. Okay.
What do you mean by Gen Xers?
Well, I think if you look at like the arguments, when you look at like the conversation between LeBron and Jordan, who's the greatest of all time? What is one of the greatest arguments that people have with Jordan being better than LeBron? How many titles did he win? He never lost a title. It's always the title. Sure. The title. And I'm just saying, and there are other factors. I'm not saying because Jordan played more games, but I'm just saying when all of a sudden the argument about whether you're great or not, or an all-time great, top 10, top 20 players of all time, it always leans on title. Or it seems to be always defaults to that, or maybe it's just the oversimplification of sports that people want to argue on is title. And you basically have basketball players that don't care about the regular season because if they're only going to be judged on how you do in the playoffs, you're like a Harden, right? I mean, his biggest knock is dropping off in the playoffs. So maybe if he didn't care about the regular season and he only focused on the playoffs, would he be looked upon better? Only because, now in the playoffs, he's maybe performing better. And I'm just saying that as sake of argument. But
I would say this to your point. Like, yes, there are. Jeez, sorry, everybody. Apparently I'm falling apart here. But there are some. The debate, it's not a Gen X thing. This is happening even from older heads.
I'm just saying because it's.
No, I get it. But my point is, so to your point, like it's generational. Yes, you're right. It's generational. Like many of Gen Xers or baby boomers or whatnot watch Jordan play, and they've watched LeBron play. And you're right. There's always a comparison because it's not just titles. Because if you go by titles alone, then Bill Russell's the greatest player of all time.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
So it's not just they bring it up as one of the big comparisons, but it's not the primary and only comparison when it comes to Jordan versus LeBron. Maybe depending on people who don't know enough, that is all they can come up with, and that's fine. That's all they know because that's all they hear. When you look at it from a perspective of games played, impact the team, scoring titles, defensive player of the year awards, all the elements related to that in the shorter period of time, you start doing those comparisons, there's no comparison. Like if you want that, and that's my point, like those who take the quick and easy stat and say, oh, titles, then they're not really digging into it, and I just go, okay, that's great, and move on. Because there's no point having that conversation because they're only stuck on that one point. And yes, there's that comedy where he I can't remember which one it was, but he basically says to one of the guys, hey, Jordan versus LeBron, Jordan's best. He goes, Jordan has 6 titles. He goes, you always use that. He's all, that's the only thing I ever need. But But that's not true. I mean, LeBron's gotten to a lot. Yeah, but LeBron's gotten to a lot of game, but his winning percentage is horrible in the finals. And you can say whatever it is, but he's had great teams. Let's get this right. It's not like he's gone to these finals and just pulled a team in out of nowhere. These are not
2 of 4 with Miami, and you can't say anything about that team.
He was 2-2. Well, or 2 of 4. Yeah, I get what you mean now. Yeah.
That's what I meant.
He went to, and he shouldn't have even won those 2. By the way, probably should have lost them. Because think about Ray Allen hit that one winner at the end. That's the only reason they won that. Literally, people had left the arena because they figured Miami had lost again and was not going to win the title. And Ray Allen hits that winner, and everybody's trying to get back in. So, but that wasn't LeBron winning the game. That's Ray Allen. Right? Like, and in all fairness, I don't want to. By the way, to give fairness to that too.
Yeah.
Every great player has great supporting cast. So whether it was Ray Allen for LeBron or Steve Kerr hitting a huge shot in a championship game for the Bulls when Jordan passed it to him,
right?
Those happen. So I'm not going to say that's the only reason why, obviously, but those are moments. And so when it comes to the greats, to your point, like always adding in, like going back to this whole load management, things along those lines, the greats and whatnot. I think it's just a matter of, look, my opinion is technology and how we do things can be useful, but it can also be bad, especially when it's rushed. And technology rushed without any understanding can be a real bad negative. But also from a workout, the fact that we're trying so hard, like I was chatting with someone recently, think about it from this perspective for basketball. And I don't know how much you pay attention. I obviously do, but look at the international players, especially the European players. Mm-hmm. Their fundamentals are so much better in many ways than the American players. You know why? Because they don't spend their lives in grammar school, high school, college, whatever, also doing AAU, doing all these traveling events and missing the fundamentals. A lot of that's being missed nowadays. The fundamentals are gone. Actually, if you watch most of the college and even the basketball games today, they don't call it anymore. But the carries, the travels, the walking, all that shit, the horrible gameplay is just pathetic at this point.
I mean, okay, let's be honest with that. That's because, like other sports, they want to bring in the casual fan. They want it more exciting. They want it to be more exciting. They want more offense. They want more ooh-ah moments.
Only if it works. But if it doesn't work, you have to move away from it.
Well, I mean, and that's an issue with the NBA, right? Because they have, viewership issues. They have ratings issues. So I don't disagree, by the way. And one thing that I was thinking about a while ago was one of the biggest knocks on, though, yeah, you talk about the fundamentals for that, but one of the biggest knocks that you see on the European players is defense. And maybe I'm isolating it for a few players. There's Jokic with they said, his defense is, in the middle. And then, of course, there's Luka, with his defense.
His defense is horrible, yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying, I wonder, because I don't know enough of the European players and how they're rated. I don't follow the NBA that deep. But it just seems like one of the biggest knocks is, their defense is also lacking. They may have the fundamentals on offense, but the defense doesn't seem like you never hear of a great defensive player coming from Europe. Maybe Giannis, but I mean, aside from a few players, it just seems like that's also one of the knocks. But I think it's also a mentality difference. I think when you look at they're not as influenced by trying to increase casual fans. And I mean, you look at offense is what brings in casual fans. Like I said, I've said in the past, there's those games that you see in the NFL that it's 48 to 42 type, final. And people are like, oh, that was a great game. I'm like, that's a fucking horrible game. I'm sorry, but a shootout like that is horrible to me. I mean, I'm not saying I want a game that ends in 7-3 because the defense is just dominating, but great games to me are like 27-21.
Would you say it's horrible to you personally because the stress level of you're putting up 40 points and you're still in a fight to win it?
It just means that there's bad defense. It means half the game isn't being played. half of it means that these teams are only. And so I'll bring up a team that, like, is the epitome of that in the NFL right now, and that would be the Bengals. You have an offense that can score, and I hate the Bengals, so it's hard for me to kind of give them, this, but you have a team that can score like 30 points at will, but their defense is giving up 35. I mean, when I look at it, that, and I'm not a Bengals fan, but I would hate that. It's just as bad as having a team that only has defense and no offense.
Right.
It just, to me, you want to see both. I think if you're a fan of the sport, not just a fan of a team, but a fan of the sport, you want to see those games where the offense scores because they took advantage of something, that they found that they made an adjustment, they found the crack, that their offensive player did something to beat the defense finally. I
Right.
mean, I really think it should be offenses score, is almost the exception rather than the rule. Where when you see some of these games where, you have 10 possessions and you score on 9 of them, like those type of ones, where it's this thing of what offense is going to make a mistake rather than the defense is stopping them. And you'll
Sure.
see that, like, either they go overboard, they try to get too cute or whatever, and then they can't score.
Right.
And I just think that as somebody who I enjoy great defenses as much as I like great offense. And I think it should be a matter of, like I said, it should be teams battling, not just, what offense is gonna outperform the other one, not make a mistake,
Right.
versus, the defense stepping up. Because it's usually not a defense stepping up, it's usually they get lucky in those type of shootouts. And I just don't, I mean, I think that's, but kinda going back to it, I think personally, I think that just you see the reducing gameplay because it's because of casual fans. They want to get people, because a lot of people only tune in to the playoffs.
Yeah, but the casual fans only carry you so much. They're gonna buy a lot. And actually the NBA's viewership, obviously I did my crack staff, looked into this real quick, has gone down over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
Like their viewership's going down. Now that could be also tied to the fact that they're shifting so much streaming that people can't afford it, that's driving viewership down. But on a national average, if you just take like NBC or ABC games, they've been trending down. They've trended down. They're lower than they were in the 2010s. Are they coming back? Maybe slightly. But like a good example, it's just, I guess my point is, yes, you're right. They want casual fans, but casual fans aren't going to carry you long term. They're just coming in maybe for that one out of curiosity. If you want someone to come to a stadium for a casual game, for baseball or something like that, sure, it's an experience more than the actual game itself that matters. Make the experience enjoyable for them. But absent all that, it's like nobody cares. But I guess, again, we could hit this to the head, but we're going to move on here in a second. But yeah, I would say I agree with you. I understand the casual fan. And yeah, NFL games that high can be, to me, are nerve-wracking. Now, I do look deeper, by the way, into those scores because a lot of times the defense could be playing really well, and it's pick sixes by the offenses that actually give up a lot of points. Yeah. And then suddenly the defense actually only gave up 20 points. So is the defense really a problem, even though they scored 48? Right. So you have to kind of, you have to look at the deeper thing. The special teams plays into it, everything.
So the one I'm of course referring to is KC versus the Rams a few years ago. And that was purely offense. There was, I think, a pick six, but again, it was majority offense. But
I'm thinking of the Bears-Niners earlier in this last season.
Oh, that was a horrible fucking game, just in general.
Well, that was also, the Bears had a special teams return. The Niners had a couple pick sixes, or a pick six on that, I think, as well. Like, those sort of things play into it. Look at the full fucking picture before you make, oh my God, so close throughout the whole series here of not saying anything bad. Look at the whole picture, all right? Stop nitpicking on a final score. Understand the reality.
No. The other part, though, really quick, just to end it on, about I think they also play on people like me who's going to stick to it, the quote-unquote.
Yeah, you're a given. They're not going to bother with you.
Right. And so, but I think what you've seen as a trend happening, to your point, though, is those diehard fans, the ones that are going to watch no matter what, are starting to leave. And
well, they're not going to match it no matter what then.
No, I know. I'm just saying a majority, again, talking about the bigger picture, is that you're seeing a bleeding. You're seeing people like, I'm not going to go to a game. I used to go to X amount of games every year, and I don't go anymore.
Cost plays into it too. We haven't gone into that either.
What's that?
The cost to the experience nowadays is so expensive too. That also plays in. But that's a different discussion. I agree.
I mean, if I'm looking at, I'm paying X amount for Sunday ticket, but I'm only going to be able to see the Browns on that less and less. I might be like, you know what? Maybe I'll try to maybe I just won't watch them for those 5 games or 6 games this year, or whatever the case may be. I think where NBA and NFL have to look at is when they start losing those diehard fans, when they start losing their core fans who spend the money week in and week out every single year, and are those ones that are consistent. When a team goes, it's great. Yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, they talk about bandwagon and those teams are at a high, but there's still there are a ton of diehard fans of those teams.
Right.
I've been there through thick and thin, but you have to be careful, because once you start losing those, when a team does have a downturn, are they going to stick? What's going to happen then? And I think that's the thing, in my opinion, that catering to the casual fan is that you have to worry about is when you lose those diehard fans, and then those casual fans start to go to their next obsession, whatever that may be.
Right.
That's where I think where the league has to really worry, is that I spend more money than casual fans do, and so gaining 2 casual fans but losing me, it would be a net loss for them. So
yeah,
I just think that they have to be careful long term, and I think that's the issue where the NBA is right now. They've lost a lot of their diehard fans, or starting to lose a lot of them.
It's all watered down shit at this point. It no longer matters. The rules just suck. Makes it easy for anyone to last a long lifetime in the sport, NFL, NBA, whatever.
Yeah.
It's that. All right, moving on. I think we killed that to death. That was starting to probably just become monotone for most people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Len unfortunately isn't prepared, but I am. We're going to play another episode.
But that's not fully prepared.
Okay. So we're going to do this segment that I like to call "Can Len Guess It?" I mean, it can be anything. This time we're going to be
next week.
This is specifically Len, because it's the 3rd time now. So we're now calling it the Len segment. Can Len guess it? So here we go. In this week, I've decided to take cartoon theme songs from our youth. So anything that ran in the 60s or 70s and maybe the 80s as well. Because when we're young, obviously, especially back in the 70s, a lot of our Saturday morning shows were actually 60s and 50s, like Flintstones and whatnot, and all those were actually 60s based cartoons that carried in. So we're going to start with something simple. You should be able to get this one pretty easily.
Great.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled.
What was the name of it?
Come on. Jesus, I let that run really long to help you out.
Justice League? No, I know it was.
Well, I mean, technically, you could say that, but that's not the answer.
No, what was the name? I know that. I think that's gonna be the hard part. I'm gonna know, but I'm not gonna remember.
Super Friends. They all knew Super Friends, right? I thought that was easy for you. Maybe not. How about this one?
See, that's gonna be the hard part. I'm not gonna remember the actual name of the shows.
Well, okay, hold on. This one you'll get. I know this for a fact. You'll get.
Whatever.
I stopped it before. No, dude.
I'm not going to do well on this.
All right, well, we're going for it. I'm going to have fun with this one then. You've done well in the first 2 times we've done this.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do poorly on this.
How about this one?
Was that Spider-Man?
There we go. Good job. See? Nice.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, good.
That was a 67 show, too, by the way. How about this one? This one I'll have to stop pretty early, but you should get it. Oh my God! It just I forgot. What do you think it is, Len?
I don't know if I would have got that without it saying it.
I know. Well, I always forget it says it right there. Otherwise, that was poor planning on my part. But
yeah, that's fine. I don't think I would have got it though. I think that even if that intro was longer without that, I don't know if I would have got it, to be honest.
You got to believe in yourself, dude. Here we go. Here's another one.
No, I have no belief.
All right, so it's not going so well. You got one.
I got one at least.
Here we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not doing good with my pause game right now.
I actually did that one, though. George of the Jungle.
Nice, yeah. It's a good one.
George of the Jungle, strong as he can be. Watch out for that tree.
Anyway.
I definitely did that one.
All right, this one.
I can't believe I didn't know Transformers. That's gonna
It's fine.
upsetting.
I actually didn't even pull the G.I. Joe theme because I figured that'd be way too easy for you.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I should have given you a gimme.
No. Actually, no. G.I. Joe starts with G.I. Joe. You wouldn't have been able to.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Good point.
Yeah, you would never been able to.
I would have had to have started it, not let you hear it, and then catch it in somewhere. Anyway, all right.
Good.
Who's the character?
It's Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it's the Bugs Bunny show.
Bugs Bunny show. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never knew the name.
That was a 70 or Saturday morning cartoon we'd always see. That'd be one of the things I'd watch for like almost 2 hours. All the different types of Looney Tune shorts under the Bugs Bunny show.
Yeah. I didn't know it was called the Bugs Bunny show though, or at least I don't remember that.
Well, they also had different one like Bugs Bunny and Tweety show or something like that. All right, this one I don't know if you'll know.
I don't remember the actual name of it.
It was called the Bugs Bunny show. Yeah, it was called the Bugs Bunny show.
I believe you.
I think that's what it was. Shit. All right. Oh, shucks. Oh, screw it. Whatever. Here we go.
Yeah.
This one you may not know. It's an 80s cartoon. It actually gave the answer right there at the beginning. Mask.
Mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some of the toys. They had
there you go. Yeah.
Came on and off. I had those toys.
That's another one.
I had a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one that came out around the G.I. Joe Transformers time frames period of cartoons.
Well, you mean the cartoons that were built around to be able to sell toys?
Yeah.
100% to sell toys, and they were.
Yeah, they were great toys, by the way.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, we're on a podcast, so I couldn't do one where I was thinking about, I'll just show you an image of a character and you tell me who it is. And that's great for the video here, but not as helpful when you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one for you. Anything?
Looney Tunes? I mean, what?
Oh, no. Here's a little bit more. Maybe you'll get it. Nope.
I mean, I know it's the cartoons from the 40s and 50s.
No, it's not.
Like
no,
sure?
It's more recent-ish. I mean, yeah, it came out probably in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's actually had a living life with other cartoons later on too. Tom and Jerry show.
Tom and Jerry show. Okay.
All right, this is definitely much harder than I anticipated with you. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
well, then just for fun, we're going to throw a couple others in. You're probably not going to get these. Like this one.
Right.
Maybe you will. You could surprise me.
No.
It's just like trying to really make you think and harken back to your youth here. The Bullwinkle show.
Bullwinkle show. Okay. Yeah, it's just funny that I don't relate. Like, what I think is funny is maybe it's the age that I was watching that, but like for the sitcom ones, I relate the movies 100% with them. I know all these songs. I know everything that you're playing. I just for some reason can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, I agree. Some of these are also hard, even for me. If obviously I know the names because I pulled them all.
Yeah.
But shows I enjoyed, and when you're watching it, you go with the theme, you sing along with it or whatever as a kid, and it's fun. But to your point, like I don't to remember it. Like here's one that I loved as a show, but it's probably not one you're going to remember. But let's pull this one in too.
And now here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever whirl their wheels in the
Which one?
Speed Racer.
Not quite. Listen.
wacky races, competing for the title.
Oh. Wait, was that the actual name of it? Wacky Racer?
Wacky Races. Yeah. Remember all the group of cars, different style cars, like a triple decker or something like that?
No. Was it cars or airplanes? Which one was the airplane?
They were airplanes. Yeah. Oh, no. They were cars. Here's the other one you're thinking of. Because I pulled this one too.
Okay.
This is
the name of
planes.
Catch That Pigeon.
Yeah, that's the song, Catch That Pigeon.
You snickering, floppy-eared hound. When courage is needed, you're never around. Those medals you wear on your
It's Dastardly and Muttley and the Flying Machines.
Yeah, I never remember that. That's just funny that I mean, like I said, as much as I remember the sitcom ones,
Yeah.
because maybe it's just age. Maybe it's like when I was
I'll give you
watching
the
it.
age. That I agree with. More than likely it's age.
Yeah. No, I don't mean my age. I mean my age when I was watching them.
No, it's your age too. You're old.
Well, I know that. But then why did I remember just 5 years later, the sitcoms? You know, like when you're watching them, I mean, you're watching these as a 10-year-old, but when I was 15, I remember it. It's not that big of a difference in terms of my age. Like how long
It's fine. It's fine. It's tough.
It's just funny that it's like not making that connection.
You're a disappointing Gen Xer. Got it. All right. Last one for you.
That's beside the point.
This one, it probably gives the answer as well. I can't remember.
As your body grows bigger,
Your mind must flower. It's great to learn, because knowledge is power.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Okay. There we go. See,
That was
every Saturday, multiple variations of Schoolhouse Rock was there. This one, I like the show. They actually had these characters in a Brady Bunch episode as well. It's not going to give the name of the show on that one.
Yeah.
It's a 60s
I don't
show,
know.
hence the style of the music makes sense. The Banana Splits. Do you remember those like characters?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I expect you to
when played
remember.
the song, I remember the song 100%. If
There you go.
anybody wanted to hear it, I would have sang along with it, but
So that concludes our weekly Can Len guess. And this week the answer was definitely not.
No.
Probably got 2 out of 10. Hopefully others did well, but we'll come back next week with ideally more. Len will come back next week with one for me, so we'll switch it up. All right.
No, it's just interesting that I when you said it, and I was thinking about doing the same thing for you. That was one of my ideas. I thought I would go some other route, but I actually thought that this would be a lot harder than as hard as I thought it was for some reason. I just knew that I wouldn't be able to make the connection sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not easy for some of them. Like I said,
I knew
it's
the
easy
song.
for me
I knew
because
every one of them.
I'm testing you on every single one.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's like if I was given it, more than likely, I'd fail to, or I'd be sitting there. Like it depends. The snippet at the beginning is like super catchy, like Schoolhouse Rock. You got pretty easily.
Yeah.
Transformers was a complete fail on your part. I don't know what the hell happened
I
there.
don't know what I was thinking.
You know,
It was the guns, I think the guns. I just heard the guns and I thought G.I. Joe. Even though now thinking back at it, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Because it starts out with.
and then of course
actually-
George of the Jungle. That was pretty straightforward, I think, for you as well.
But Mask, I did know.
Yep.
For
Well,
some
nice.
reason, it fit. I thought you were going to go like with. Actually, no, because again, a lot of them they start out with the name of the show. Like I was thinking, He-Man.
Yeah. You got Spider-Man, by the way, too. I take that back. You got Spider-Man as well.
I actually
So you
thought
got
I was
4.
waiting for you to throw in like a Macross or a Voltron or one of those.
I thought about it, but I'm like, dude, that's too
I thought you were really
easy.
gonna throw- Yeah. I thought you were really going to throw one of those. One of the old school anime ones.
Well, they're not old school. Those are 80s.
No, they were 7. Well, I mean, if you want to talk about when
Macross was 80s.
well, the anime actually came out in the 70s and it was brought over here in the 80s.
Correct. But you only started
So-
watching it in the 80s under the US
Yeah.
version. You weren't watching international. It's just like
I was.
Transor Z. Right? Do you remember Transor
yeah,
Z?
Yeah.
Loved that show. It only lasted like 2 years in the US, but it's Mazinga Z in Japan.
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah,
Shoguns.
but it is okay. It is pretty old school because old school is when they were still doing hand drawn. Is what usually the line that is drawn for anime right now is hand drawn and computer, or at least it used to be. When they started
Who
going
said that's
over,
old school? I mean, yeah, I
it's
guess.
just it's just how
It's just like old school music recording instead of auto-tuned, like everything is today. Like prior to
Right.
auto-tune existing, anything you hear, probably early 90s and before, is pre-auto-tune.
Yeah.
So that's like when you hear it and it sounds really good, that's legitimately them. Versus today where most records are auto-tuned.
Yeah.
Hell, even auto-tuned in their concerts too.
oh shit. I mean, Milli Vanilli was like the first auto tune.
That was an auto-tune.
I know.
That was a
screen
straight.
tune.
That was a
up
bait and
swap.
switch big time right there.
That's
Great
the
music
first, like,
too. That was the best part. The songs were catchy.
Yeah, unfortunate that the people never actually made it. But nowadays, Milli Vanilli would have been, just auto tuned, and they wouldn't have needed, to swap out the voices.
Well, no, they swapped
Or-
out the voice because they didn't like the actual singer's look.
Yeah, yeah. They just put
That's
in
why
the
they went
look.
with two different guys. Yeah.
Blame It on the Rain was a good song.
Yeah.
I-
Girl, you know it's true.
Yeah. And then
I mean, they had catchy songs.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But,
And they are the most interesting story in a long time.
Yeah.
But that also then led to those who do lip sync in their concerts. They're not actually singing live. Those who just sing off of recordings.
yeah. How
And
do you
this
feel
was
about that?
well-
To close it up, I mean, I think maybe the last one we'll go on is
So let's talk about it from it depends. So when I go to see an actual band play, I expect them to be live, and they generally are. When it's now pop artists, so this is mostly related to pop artists who tend to not play any music. It's not because they're not playing music, but they're more than likely doing dance routines and whatnot. And because they're built on their dance routines with the music, there's where, like Michael Jackson sang live, he had great dance routines.
and you could tell because
Yeah.
you could hear him out of breath at times.
So my thinking is this. Personally, like if your concert, you're going to come in and just say it's more about the dance, so you're going to hear the music and we're just going to sing along with it because you can tell. Like I've seen, like what's the most recent? Probably like with Coachella. Some of these bands come up when they were
Oh, yeah.
live streaming. So, some of these pop singers are just singing over their words, and that's fine because their whole purpose is the dance. I get that, so I understand that. But like
Yeah.
Coldplay is always live, right? Like they're doing theirs live, but they're not out there also doing a huge dance routine. So I guess it depends on what my expectations are going in. Like if I don't know that they do lip syncing, then I'm not expecting that. So if they do, that becomes a bummer. And if it's because I just didn't pay attention and it's all well known, or because who was it? Was it Ashley Simpson or something like that, or who got caught lip syncing one time where she started? It was a totally different song than what she expected to start up.
Right. And she started, she's
Yeah.
saying the wrong song, yeah.
So that was like people's first realization this might actually be happening, even though it's probably been happening for a while for some. But yeah, my thing is it depends. Like, honestly, if you want to, because you do a heavy dance set, like the K-pop does a lot of heavy dancing. Is probably an example. They still sing it, but they sing with it, right? In a lot of cases.
I was going to say that most of them, I mean, there's an expectation that they're still singing, but they have
Correct.
the backtrack to help.
And sometimes they won't sing, and you'll see it. They'll stop singing when the words are still going on. But that's not just K-pop. I'm just using a quick example because there's a lot of
no, you're
dance
right.
routine to it.
Yeah.
But even U.S.-based groups do the same thing.
See, I guess when it comes to the sound overs, like what K-pop will do, if you're not going to sing, just don't act like you're singing. Though I think that's what bothers me.
Yeah.
If
Well, don't
if you're-
half-ass it all
if
together
you're
either.
gonna play
Do the dance or don't do the dance. Yeah.
exactly, and I'm fine with that. I don't want it being, first of all because I'd rather hear the imperfections. But yeah, I think most of the time with K-pop, they have the backtrack playing to help them out. But I think in general, they're expected to sing. Like you even have some groups when they do the choreo, they will have only part of the group actually doing some of the choreo and the other one not, so they can actually sing.
Mhm.
So a lot of them, you could tell the ones that actually do it and plan. for that type of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I totally agree. I think that if you're just doing lip syncing, then that's an issue.
Correct.
If you're doing backtrack because of choreo, whatever, then that's a different story. But yeah, I think when it just comes to pure lip syncing, that's where I think that's where the line is drawn. Or if you're doing lip syncing or even backtracks when there's not a need for it, just because you want to sound better because you're all auto-tune or majority auto-tune, that's where I think it becomes an issue.
I mean, backtracks make sense when you're like an old ass group. When you're a long in the tooth group that's been around for years, like an 80s band group that brings in either backtracks or even backup singers who help amplify this music that they sang originally on their own to still give it that sort of, sense, but they're still singing to it. They just, with age, voices change, you get ages as well. Although a lot of them still sound great in their old age, but
Some
how
of
much
them
is
don't.
some do not.
Yeah, we had that conversation before, like with David Lee Roth and some other plays. You're like, dude, seriously.
Yeah. So,
you should just, I don't know, just give it up. At a certain point, you got to just say that enough's enough.
I agree. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. So, yeah, anyway, that's a good point. Like, I think it just matters. Like, if it's backtracks, backups.
Yeah.
But it's either you either commit to it or you don't. Like, if you're going to commit to always having your music and vocals just play in the concert, and your goal is just to really dance to it, give them that full, because it's an experience. Like, you're not out there. That's why I say it's like difference between a live band versus a single pop artist who doesn't necessarily, but like Taylor Swift does her own stuff, so I'm not including her in that category. She's more of a live band. So are others. Like, I saw Olivia Rodriguez. Like, I'm name dropping here people I don't really listen to, but I know they're in today's.
Yeah.
But the reason why I know more about her, although I've heard of her for a while, I don't listen to her music per se, is in a recent concert she brought Robert Smith from The Cure out and played a couple of his songs with him. So she had a guitar, he had his guitar, and they were playing together and singing together. Yeah. And to me, what's impressive is not so much that she sang it, but that there are those, even in today's younger generation, Gen Zs and whatever groups, I just use Gen Zs for now, that still can find that sort of connection. Like we said about music, for me, the music to me is more about what connects with me. But the fact that she brought him out from The Cure, who's really, a very specific type of brand of music, to tie into her genre, because she truly appreciates it and loves the music and what he built, is fantastic. It's just a nice combo when you see those things happen together.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just what you want. You want to be able, some of them, if it's just for pop, and it's just funny when some people will hear that they did a lip sync and you're like, you're really that surprised? Really?
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah. Maybe back in the early 90s when you heard about if someone was lip syncing, then yes, it was a shocker.
It was a big controversy, and it didn't matter if they were just pop or whatever. But then the other one that you will hear most of those, like you said, like Lollapalooza, Coachella, a lot of those are lip synced. Because it's more for the production, and it's not like you're going to like their concert. It's more for the concert festival experience, more so than just listening to the artist. So,
correct. Yeah. Well, and that's why when I spend money to go to a concert, my goal is I'm going to the concert to actually hear them live. I'm not going there to hear them sing what I can listen to at home. Like, I can do that myself. There's no value there. I want to hear them sing. That's the whole experience, is to be part of that presence. So yeah. But like I said, you're right. If you know it, and it's not surprising anymore. It is part of how some operate, and that's fine. It's more the experience in a different manner than singing. So,
yeah,
awesome.
Cool.
All right, well, it was another great week. Hope everybody enjoyed today's podcast. We'll be back next week with our 91st.
91st.
Yeah, we should be back. It's Easter next weekend, but we'll be back. I'm not doing anything for Easter. We can talk about the history of Easter. Okay. Anyway, appreciate everybody listening. Remember to subscribe and like, share with others, and we'll be back. Have a great week.